Good evening, students. Today our chapter is life process. The chapter is life process. In the previous session we have already studied this chapter, and this total chapter comprises of total 5 parts. Life process. Number 1 part is nutrition. Second part is your respiration. Third part is transportation. Fourth part is excretion, and fifth part, there is a special part, it is human digestive system. Clear? Actually human digestive system, that is fifth part, is included in nutrition. Clear? But it is a special topic, so I will explain this topic separately. So total there are 5 parts: nutrition, respiration, transportation, excretion, and human digestive system. This is all about our life process. In the last session, that is in lecture 1, we have already covered nutrition, and in today's session we will study respiration. Clear? So what is respiration? Respiration is a process of breakdown, oxidation of food to release energy. It is a process of breaking down food that we eat to release energy. Clear? Whatever we are eating, that is we eat food and it breaks down to release energy. Clear? So it is a process known as respiration. Now what is breathing? What is the difference between respiration and breathing? Actually, what is breathing? Breathing means exchange of gases. That means we take in oxygen and we give out carbon dioxide. The exchange between these two gases is known as breathing. Clear? So we take in oxygen and we gives out carbon dioxide. Clear? So the exchange of these two gases is known as breathing. Clear? And it is the first step of respiration. There are total 4 steps. In respiration there are total 4 steps. I will explain each and every steps separately in details. There are total 4 steps, and breathing is the first step of respiration. Clear? Now next, respiratory substrates. What is respiratory substrates? Now generally glucose or food. Food means whatever we are eating, that is food. Food generally means glucose. So it is the respiratory substrates. Food actually breaks down to release energy. That is, food or glucose is our respiratory substrates. Clear? And it produces energy. Which is required for our everyday work. Clear? So main purpose of respiration. What is the main purpose of respiration? The main purpose of respiration is to produce energy. If question is asked, what is the purpose of respiration? The purpose of respiration is to produce energy or to release energy. Clear? Now we have already told that respiration, there are 4 steps of respiration. There are all total 4 steps of respiration. Number 1 step is breathing. Number 2 steps, exchange between lungs and blood. Number 3, exchange between blood and organs. And number 4, that is cellular respiration. Now what is breathing? Breathing means exchange of gases. That is, we take in oxygen and we give out carbon dioxide. So exchange of gases is called breathing. Clear? Now number 2 step, exchange between lungs and blood. Now whenever we take in oxygen, it first goes to lungs. And from lungs, oxygen goes to blood. Listen carefully. Whenever we take in oxygen first goes to lungs, and from lungs, oxygen goes to blood. Clear? So there is an exchange between oxygen from lungs to blood, and blood in return gives back carbon dioxide to lungs. The oxygen we are taking in first goes to lungs, and from lungs oxygen is carried over to blood, and in return blood gives back carbon dioxide to lungs. So there is an exchange of oxygen and carbon dioxide, these gases, between lungs and blood. So step 2 is exchange between lungs and blood. Clear? Now step 3, exchange between blood and organs. Now recall the step 2. The oxygen we are taking in goes to lungs first, and from lungs it goes to Blood. Now blood is full of oxygen. Clear? So step 3 is exchange between blood and organs. So blood is now full of oxygen. Now this oxygen will go to organs, different organs from blood. Now the oxygen will go to different organs from blood, and in return organs will give out carbon dioxide to blood. Clear? The oxygen rich blood, that is oxygen from blood, will go to different organs, and organs in return give out carbon dioxide gas to blood. Clear? So oxygen reached in organs, different organs have got oxygen now. Clear? Next, number 4 step is cellular respiration. Now tell me, organs, what are organs? Now, organs are composed of tissues. You already know, in cell, you have studied the chapter cell. In cell chapter you have studied the tissue. Clear? Now, organs are made up of different tissues. Different tissues combine together to form organs. And what are tissues? The tissues are made up of cells. Tissues are made up of cells. 2 or more cells combine to form tissues, and more than one tissue, that is more than one tissue combine together to form organs. That means now organs have got oxygen, and that oxygen will reach to cells. Oxygen will reach to cells, and here cellular respiration starts. That is, whenever oxygen reach to cells, it reach a special cell, that is, we all know mitochondria, which is known as powerhouse of the cell. You have already studied mitochondria, Golgi body, lysosome, ribosome, nucleus in cell chapter. So mitochondria is known as powerhouse of the cell. So whenever organs have got oxygen, that means oxygen directly reach to cells. Where? In mitochondria. That is powerhouse of the cell, and it produces, this oxygen produces energy, and the oxygen produces energy which is required for our daily purpose. So we have already told that the main purpose of respiration is to produce energy. Clear? So energy is produced where? Energy is produced in mitochondria. And in which step? In cellular respiration. Clear? So there are total 4 steps. Number 1, breathing. Number 2, exchange between lungs and blood. Number 3, exchange between blood and organs. And number 4 step, cellular respiration. Clear? So these are total 4 steps in respiration process. Now we have there is a difference shown, that is a difference between photosynthesis and respiration. You should know what is the difference between photosynthesis and respiration. I have already told what is photosynthesis in the lecture 1. What is photosynthesis in lecture 1? So there is a difference between photosynthesis and respiration. We should know this fact, some facts between photosynthesis and respiration. And number one difference is that photosynthesis takes place in the green cells. Photosynthesis takes place in the green cells. Now what is photosynthesis? The process by which plants use energy and to produce food. The process by which plant uses energy and produce their own food is known as photosynthesis. Clear? And for this photosynthesis process, energy is required, which comes from sunlight. Clear? So photosynthesis takes place only green cells. Why green cells? Because green cell means chloroplast. Green cells means chloroplast. Green cells means chloroplast. It is present in leaves. That's why photosynthesis takes place only in the green cells. And whereas respiration, it takes place in all the living cells. So this is the first difference between photosynthesis and respiration. Next, point number 2, it takes during daytime. Clearly, because there is no sunlight in night. Clear? So it takes place only in daytime because sunlight is required. Without sunlight, photosynthesis cannot occur. So it takes during daytime. And respiration, it takes place throughout in the life of the organisms. Clear? Step 3, point number 3, energy is stored. In photosynthesis process, the energy is stored. Respiration, energy is released. In respiration process, energy is released. Clear? So this is point number 3. Next, point number 4, in photosynthesis, food and oxygens are produced. Food means glucose and oxygen. Food means glucose and oxygen. Food and oxygen are produced in photosynthesis, and in respiration, carbon dioxide and water are produced. So this is the product of photosynthesis, that is food and oxygen, and this is the product of respiration, that is carbon dioxide and water. Next, number 5 step, photosynthesis is an anabolic process and respiration is a catabolic activity. Photosynthesis is an anabolic activity and respiration is a catabolic activity. Now what is anabolic activity? The anabolic activity means to combine small molecules to form a large molecule. Combining small molecules or joining small molecules to form a large molecule. Clear? So this is anabolic activity. And what is catabolic activity? It is the reverse of anabolic activity. That means if we break a large molecule to produce small molecules, that is catabolic activity. Clear? So photosynthesis is a anabolic activity and respiration is a catabolic activity. Next, last point number 6. Enzymes are located in the chloroplast. The enzymes which required in photosynthesis process, it is located in chloroplast. Enzymes means, what are enzymes? The enzymes are the enzymes that is required in photosynthesis. It is located in the chloroplast, that is in leaf. That is in leaf. Clear? Enzymes, what are the enzymes? Enzymes means chlorophyll. Enzymes means chlorophyll which is stored in leaves. Enzymes means chlorophyll which is stored in green leaves, particularly in chloroplast. Enzyme is chlorophyll. Clear? In photosynthesis, enzyme is chlorophyll. So chlorophyll or enzymes are located in the chloroplast, that is in green cells or leaves. And whereas respiration, enzymes are located in the mitochondria. Enzymes are located in the mitochondria where energy is produced. Clear? So these are the some facts or differences between photosynthesis and respiration we should study. Clear? Next, types of respiration. Next, types of respiration. There are two types of respiration. There are generally two types of respiration. One is aerobic respiration, one is aerobic respiration, and one is anaerobic respiration. One is aerobic respiration and one is anaerobic respiration. What is aerobic respiration? Respiration in presence of oxygen. Respiration in presence of oxygen. This is aerobic respiration. And what is anaerobic respiration? Respiration without in presence of oxygen, that is absence of oxygen. Clear? So one is aerobic respiration, that is presence of oxygen, and one is anaerobic respiration, that is absence of oxygen. These two are the respiration types, aerobic and one is anaerobic. Now what is aerobic respiration? Look at this flow chart. What is aerobic respiration? The first step is chloroplast. This is the site of photosynthesis where photosynthesis occurs. This is the site of photosynthesis where photosynthesis occurs. Site of photosynthesis where photosynthesis occurs, that is in green plants or green leaves. Clear? So from chloroplast it produces glucose and oxygen. This is the byproduct of photosynthesis. This is the site of photosynthesis, and the product of photosynthesis is glucose and oxygen. This is the byproduct of photosynthesis. That means it is generally known as food. Clear? So photosynthesis occurs in chloroplast. Clear? Green plants produce food in presence of chloroplast. Clear? And in presence of sunlight it produces food. The food is glucose and oxygen, and whatever the plant produce, we eat them. Whatever the plant produce, we eat them. Clear? So it get then digested. The food then get digested and it goes to directly cells. The food get digested and it directly goes into cells, and where it goes into specially mitochondria. Clear? To produce energy. Whatever the plant produce, that is food, that is glucose and oxygen, we eat them and it get digested and it goes to cells, especially in mitochondria where energy is produced. Clear? Next, CO2 and H2. CO2 and H2 are the byproduct of respiration. So when energy is produced in mitochondria, it will gives the byproduct as CO2 and H2, that is carbon dioxide and water. Clear? So this flow chart is all about aerobic respiration. It starts from chloroplast where photosynthesis occurs. This is the site of photosynthesis, and the byproduct of photosynthesis is glucose and oxygen. That means plant produces food and we eat this food. After having this food, it gets digested and it goes directly to cells, and especially in mitochondria. It is known as powerhouse of the cell. The main function of mitochondria is to produce energy. So it produces energy which is known as ATP. It is a one type of energy and gives byproduct as carbon dioxide and water, which is the byproduct of respiration. Clear? So the energy comes in the form of ATP. ATP means it is a one type of energy. ATP means adenosine triphosphate. The full form of ATP you should know: adenosine triphosphate. Adenosine triphosphate. It is energy. Energy is in the form ATP, that is adenosine triphosphate. So this is your aerobic respiration. It occurs in presence of oxygen. Clear? Next, number 2, anaerobic respiration. What is anaerobic respiration? Now the respiration which occurs in absence of oxygen. Clear? So anaerobic respiration are called as fermentation. That is in yeast. The respiration in yeast actually known as fermentation, and one is anaerobic respiration in muscle cells. So there are two types. Anaerobic respiration is called as fermentation, that is in yeast, and it is called anaerobic respiration in muscle cells. It is another type. Clear? So in the next session we will study specially anaerobic respiration, and the chapter, that is the respiration topic, will complete. Clear? Thank you.